Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dom, and in today's video we are just going to be playing with the new Odens Solemane 2 palette, and I'm starting in with this blue shade and I'm just blending that out with a fluffy brush. This is actually my second time trying to do this look. The first time I just didn't like how the colors were like blending together, so I just removed it and then started again. So I'm going in mainly with this blue and I'm just blending that out. So far this seems to be working really well. And then I'm going to go in with the black shade and I'm just going to add some depth to that. I'm just going to deepen that up a bit. This is my first time ever using Odens formula, so this was really just an experimentation to get used to the formula and see just how the palette and their eyeshadows work, because I've heard a lot of amazing things about them. So yeah. Now I'm going to use some NYX glitter primer just to kind of lay a foundation for this next shade I'm about to use. So I'm going to take this like sparkly lavender shade and I'm going to put that right over the lid. If you guys want a more in-depth like tutorial or like video going over this palette, like as far as the swatches, things of that nature, and like me swatching out every single shade, then let me know. I just know it's been out for a little bit. This palette released May 20th and it's now June 4th. I just got mine in the mail today, so I know that the hype is probably not as much anymore, but if that's something that you'd be interested in, I will definitely do so. And then I'm just spreading that out and it looks pretty good. Hydrate, hydrate. Alright, so now that was the first eye, nothing too crazy. Now we're going to move on to the second eye, which is where I had my issues, I would say. So I'm starting with this brighter yellow orange shade, and I'm just kind of like packing that on. I did use eyeshadow base, however, on this eye it's actually set on the side with the blue. It was not, but yeah, anyway. So I'm just packing that on, and as you can see it's really powdery because you can see the little powder particles floating. And then I'm going to go in with that orangey red shade. This shade I had the most issues with. This was definitely a shade that did not work very well. It wasn't very pigmented and this was the struggle. So I'm switching brushes to see if I can get any more pigment from this. I feel like with this one you can't really blend it or else it's going to blend away. I think the best way that I've found to use this is kind of patting it, but I still wanted to blend it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, it's just really, really subtle, and that's not really my vibe for this shade. I wish it was a lot brighter. And I'm just kind of patting it on there. That helped a little bit. I've definitely dealt with more pigmented shades, so this one is kind of a bummer for me as far as these colors go, but I'm trying to make them work here. Then just going back in with that yellow and just really deepening everything up again. And then I tried to add a little bit of black to add some depth, but I feel like that just was about to go left so quickly, so I kind of just stopped at that. And then I ended up taking one of the darker shades to kind of add depth, but we'll get there. So I'm just like touching up the lighter colors because I felt like I had like almost, I don't know if it was from the black or it's just that like everything was like blending and fading away, but I felt like I had like almost like a little patch going on. But anyway, now I'm just taking some more NYX glitter primer and I am just working that onto my eyelid. And then I'm going to take that bronzy red shade and I'm going to apply that to the outer corner. This is the color that's really going to give me the most depth for this like warm tone section. I was really hoping the black would look good, but it just wasn't really working with the eye look, I don't think. I'm still going to try to play around with it, but I don't know, the warm tones aren't doing it for me personally. As far as the mattes go, the shimmers worked really beautifully. I didn't have any issues with any of the shimmers that I tried, and then I went in with that lighter gold on the inner corner as well, and that was really pretty. And then I'm just trying to fill in that gap that I feel like I had. And then I'm just going in with that darker bronze and like adjusting everything and trying to see what everything looks like. So I took it out a little bit farther. And then just blending everything out a little bit, trying to soften and add a little bit more of the red tones. In the inner corner. Okay, so now I'm trying to decide what I want to do. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of black to the outer V to see if that will help. And I feel like this didn't blend well with these colors. I feel like with the blue it did okay, but I just feel like with the red, I just feel like it didn't play nicely. I feel like they didn't blend well together, but I don't know if that's because the other shades just, I don't know. Alrighty. I'm just going to take a little bit of the purple shade out of the palette and just kind of run that underneath my eye a little bit. And then I'm going to do the red and a little bit of black, and we're going to do that to the other side as well. So one eye looks really dramatic and the other one looks a little plain. I was hoping to get kind of like this similar look, just with different shades, but apparently it didn't work that way because I just didn't have the depth that I needed from the warm side from the reds, because I didn't want it to be like a heavy with black. But anyway, so moving on to the blush, I picked up one of the blushes. I'll have the shade name down in the description below, because I don't remember off the top of my head. But this blush here, yeah, I have thoughts. Anyway, let me put on some mascara. And then I'm talking on the phone to one of my coworkers, so don't mind me. And then I'm just gonna dust off some of the fallout. So this blush is pretty, but I feel like you can't see it very well on my skin. And you'll see I'll dip into this a couple of times and just kind of go back and forth. But I feel like you can't see this on me, and that's a bummer. I probably should have got one of the illuminating ones, but I really just wanted a solid, like, matte blush that I could use every single day. And this one, I don't see much change, so. So I'm gonna use my Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm gonna use that blush out of there, and I'm just going to add that to my face as well. And then for highlight, I'm going to use two different highlighters. Odens did release their own highlighters, but I didn't pick any of those up. So the first one I'm using is the Glam Light Mimosa highlight, which is just like a golden highlighter. And then the second one is from, what is the name of that brand? Oh man, Kaleidos Cosmetics, and it's one of their highlighters. It's the blue one, and it's super pretty. Super, super pretty. So I'm just gonna pack that on. It never looks thick, it always just looks very thin and beautiful. That was my turtle, sorry. And then I'm gonna put the highlighters that I used on each side of my face in the inner corner for highlight. Alright, I'm gonna grab a lip liner. The lip liner I ended up using is Trendsetter by Morphe, one of my favorites. And then I'm gonna grab a lip gloss here. I'm gonna grab my Glam Light Icy Collection lip gloss. It's the blue one. It's really not blue, it's just clear, but I'm just gonna throw that on. And that is the look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will come back and give updates, and like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Bye, friends.